y'all do know that a lot of our kids cannot read or write, comprehend basic things, let alone add 1 plus 1. A lot of them are reading way below their actual grade level. You know that. Do you know what our statistics look like right now? And it's so interesting. And I'm gonna we can talk about a bunch of different communities, but I am going to speak for this one directly to the Black community. I just find it odd yet fascinating at the same time how we are all for culture, right? And when it comes to the entertainment, to the arts, to the fashion, we'd rather our kids, we plug up the aux. Nobody really listens to the radio anymore. Everybody's plugging in their aux, listening to the dirty version, the explicit version. As far as I'm concerned, explicit or explicit anything does not simply mean if you're using profanity or bad words, as the kid would say. But all of this content today, a lot of this music is explicit in itself. You don't even have to cuss on it. The content of it, the theme of the music itself is explicit, and it should not be played around kids. And grown folks will say stuff like, well, it's for grown folks. It's not for grown folks either. Are you are we childish? Like, what is going on? And I'm going to tell you what's going on. This is a spiritual battle. Y'all, we in the last days for real. Everybody is doing whatever they want to do, giving away to their flesh, giving away to their sin, doing what they want to do. And y'all are not training up your child in the way that they should go. The way that they should go. Y'all are training them up in the way that you want them to go. Doing what you want to do. But I hear a lot of us in the community saying stuff like, I want my kids to be better than me. I want my kids to make it out of here. I want my kids to do this. But yet you're not even off a basic level. It don't matter if you don't have the money, the means. It could be as simple as praying more, reading your Bible more. Maybe if you spent time reading with your child, you wouldn't focus and put so much emphasis on the schools. I actually used to work in the public school system. I was a substitute teacher, but I was filling as like a full-time music teacher for like a long term, but not really though. So when I was there, I was really trying to do the best that I could to be a light to the kids because, man, I see a lot of people giving up on them kids. The stuff that I seen, the stuff that I saw, witnessed with my eyes, y'all. If you were in that position, it would make you cry. Most people would not even be able to take a teaching job today because a lot of teachers are walking away for this reason: lack of accountability on the parents. It would make it so much easier if the parents were actually truly involved in their child's life and not always trying to come up and I'm finna cut a rug, I'm finna bust up, like, who want to smoke? Y'all are coming to school bringing that stuff, thinking that you're fighting for your child, but it's really you're just setting a bad example for your children. And then you go and you pick at the teachers who are actually trying to help. You picking at my kid. I'm not saying, now there are some teachers who do be in the wrong, but it's a lot of teachers who are not like that. They just want to help kids out. And it's a lot of them right now who are brave enough to be standing in the gap right now, trying to help your child out. And you're hurting them by letting them listen to Let That Coochie Breathe. Shake that for Drake and shake that for me. That is what we've come to right now as a society. But it didn't just get here randomly. It's been plummeting for a very long time. And the things that we accept as a culture, as our blackness to represent who we are, is misrepresenting who we are. Because we are not to be defined by what the world says, but by what God says. Jesus Christ, not nobody else. Jesus Christ and what he says. I am appalled. And, a lot of people, if you don't know me, I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I didn't grow up. We was not middle class. We was none of that. I grew up in East Memphis. I done been to 7, 8, 9 plus schools before I went to college. I was a first generation college student, left Memphis, went 10, 12 hours up and went and took my tail to college. And I didn't even know where the money was going to come from me to go. But by God's grace and mercy, I got to go and walk across the stage and graduate. And what I lived by is that you have to be the change really that you want to see. A lot of us are waiting on other people to do the work for us. And we cussing people out. We getting online. We're doing all of this stuff. And I'm not saying some of that, it's nothing wrong with any of those things. But I want you to really think about this. If you're waiting on everybody else to do the work, but then you're doing nothing, you will not see no fruit of your specific labor. You want to see the fruit of your labor through a whole bunch of other people doing the work that you should also to be doing. And it really starts with spiritually where you are, because that stuff just manifests and it shows in the physical. A lot of us are broken. We are angry. We are mad. Look, a lot of us are bitter. Keep it a buck with yourself. And if you want to unfollow, do what you got to do. But a lot of us are really, really, really way off, and we're leading our kids in the wrong way. I just don't find it funny or cool that we can be activists and advocates for one thing on one end, but then the daily things that we're doing the complete opposite of that good work we think that we're doing. It's actually no work. It's counterproductive is what it is. It's not working. It's not working because we're plummeting and we need help. We need deliverance. So I would challenge you, especially if you are a parent, a Black parent, young, old, whoever, because I see a lot of old people, my elders, who be out here clowning like they children. Gen Xers, 40-something, 50-something-year-old parents, acting like we living it up like we 18, 19, 20 years old. I'm just curious as to where our standards are. We don't have any. And it's like, it's all fun and games on, I want this, I want this, I want this. Y'all do know that those are standards, right? Those are things like that you are hoping that somebody else can like uphold, right? I want my man to be this. I want my man. I want my girl. She got to be like this. So you have standards, right? Not real standards, because those aren't real standards. Some of y'all don't have real standards, but you got standards, right? Right. I would challenge you to figure out what type of standards you should have, because the standards that you have for yourself and that you have for other people is going to really show in your children and your grandchildren and your nieces and your nephews and your sisters and your brothers. And if you're not standing in the gap and closing up these breaches to the enemy, then the enemy is always going to literally have entryways and access into your life. And we love to say stuff like, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. But the thing is that those weapons that are formed, they will prosper in your life if you don't give your life to Jesus Christ and get some divine strategy from the Holy Spirit on what to do about your life. And then how you can lead by example so that other people might see that light that he has put inside of you. We have to stop waiting for people to do the job for us. You have to get up and you have to be the change that you want to see. So if your children are growing up and they become gangsters and they go out here and they be what those types of things that you don't want your child to be right now, if you don't want that to happen, then you need to start doing things right now to prevent those things from happening. And it starts with education. It does. It starts with education. And not simply reading, writing, math, basic things, but education spiritually. What are they consuming? Cutting out some of that TV, cutting out some of that TikTok, cutting out some of that game. You have to start setting the standard. I know a lot of us don't want to do that because some people are still broken from their childhood. So they're not giving their kids what they should because you don't want to look like how your parents did. You don't want to you don't want to go through again or let your kids go through what you went through. It don't have to be that way either. You just got to go to Jesus about it and figure it out. I know it is easier said than done, but it is simple though. Otherwise, you're just going to take the long way around and keep taking a long drive down, dragging everybody in your bloodline to hell almost. As opposed to taking flight with the Most High. That's all it takes. Reevaluate yourself. Reflect. And you need to uproot this stuff. Discipline is everything right now. And that's all I got to say. It's not the kids' fault because they just doing what they see the parents doing. Y'all talking about y'all raising y'all kids, but y'all not raising them if the streets is raising them. You're not raising your kids if the kids at the school and peer pressure is raising them. You're not raising your kids if TikTok is raising them. Coco Melon is raising them. Gracie's Corner is raising them. The TV is raising them. You're not raising your kids. They're roommates to you. Your kids are roommates at this point because you don't even engage with them, talk to them, and be what a parent is supposed to be. So it starts with you, not with nobody else, but with you. Let's stop blaming it on everybody else. And let's just fix our minds on what you need to do. And God will give you the answers on what to do. Go to him about it.